This is something we were doing as a hobby. We were making some pretty good beer, and there was no brewery yet in Sydney. So it took a while, probably took 2 years to get the business plan together, kind of get that courage to go get the money, talk to the banks, talk to some family and friends about it. So I'd say probably 2012 we started chatting about it, and we were seriously into like trying to raise money and all of that in 2014, and then we opened in 2015. So especially starting off, we both wore like a ton of hats, and like we were brewing, we were doing everything here. But since then, we're more in like kind of management and trying to make decisions. We have a lot of employees right now, and just making sure that we're steering the ship in the right direction, and so that comes with a lot of responsibility. So we definitely have different tasks, but it's more so for when we're doing our downtown expansion. So I have the engineering background, so that helps a little bit with that. And then Andrew has different strengths as well, so from an HR perspective, helping with that. So it's a little bit tough to explain exactly, but we're both we delegate and have different roles in the company. But mainly we're at a point where we're just trying to make sure that we're making the right next steps and planning so yeah. I had a really positive experience. So I was very, had a good experience with school growing up, and I was always kind of competitive with marks and with math and all. Like I just really enjoyed it. So so I really liked school, and then the extracurricular too. I enjoyed that. So I had a really positive experience at school. So yeah. I was the kind of kid that would if there was an assignment given out in class, or I'd always try to do it. I was kind of competitive with my friends to try to see how quickly I could do it, but I'd always be engaged in asking questions. More so asking questions engaged versus like note taking for me. That I always felt like, especially in university, okay, well I have the book. So like that has the information. So I'd always try to pay attention and ask, just kind of ask questions when I found something interesting, or if I was wondering about something. So I would say that was kind of the way I went through school, was like kind of
pretty vocal.
Yeah, and very always interested, and engineering really like was up my alley, because I always found like it was just kind of a concept. Each course was like some concepts, and once you got the concept, then it's good. It wasn't memorization, so I wasn't a big fan of like memorization and then write a test on what you just remembered. And I like the fact that you can learn some concepts and understand processes and systems, and so that was great, and that aligns big time with brewing. But so that's I enjoy systems and processes and making them more efficient and all of that. Like if I'm curious about something, then I'll dig into it. So I think that's, if you're not interested or curious about a subject, then it's hard to learn about it. So I'd say for me, that's how I would learn best. Or like now at the brewery, if something like breaks or we had to fix it, or like then I learn as well. Because if something has to get done, then I'll Andrew and I'll learn how to do it. Or if I'm just really thoroughly interested or curious. I'd say if I had to pick one thing that was the most valuable from high school, it was just the social aspect. But getting, interacting with so many different personalities on a day-to-day basis, learning to interact with your teachers, your coaches. So I think for socially, that's huge, right? And you get to know, you're creating a network as well. So you get to know so many people and learn how to work in different situations with them. So I think that's the most important thing from high school. Well, there were some teachers that, like, I did have a couple teachers. One was my physics teacher and my math teacher. They were big influences on me. But I did have an English teacher that kind of was one of my favorite teachers in high school, and he was just really good at interacting with everybody in the class, like talking to everybody and, you know, getting their story, and by the, you know, a month in, you know a little bit about everybody in the classroom, and he was really funny, and so that's like, I really enjoyed that class, so that was a positive thing. So I think doing maybe some more game-oriented things would be really helpful, like board games such as Monopoly and like trading games, whatever. There's a million different games that you could pick, but that would maybe make school more fun, and teach them some strategy, some other life skills. I think bringing in some business owners from the community, the local community, that would help, even if it's just for you know, a 20-minute talk or something. Then they might know a little bit more. Oh, this is. I know that I've done a couple talks out at CBU for their business program, their marketing program, letting them know, so that some of those students may not have been aware of us or what opportunities are there. I think that'd be really helpful. I think working on personal finance and understanding how all that works, what debt is, what credit cards do, what compounding is, all of that is very important. I think just in general, knowing that it's an option. So yeah, okay, you can be a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, a teacher, all of these things, but also, and give it kind of equal airtime as the other items. But I think having a course focused on it would be great. And I don't know if it should be a mandatory course or just an optional course, but I think having access to it would be very helpful. I touched on it briefly earlier, but I think for people to understand when they get out into the world more about personal finance, about debt, about expenses, about what a mortgage is, the basic stuff, like that should just be standard. I think like creating a business plan or like, you know, opening a business doesn't have to be a real business, but like that would be the course, would be like that they have to, you know, maybe find something they're passionate, come up with an idea, what are you passionate about, what's something that you think could work, write a business plan, and then maybe that's that entrepreneurial course where you get some leaders from the community to come in and talk, and they can learn about, you know, 20 different jobs that you can do, or things that can take place. So yeah, I don't know, that might be one option, but it's tricky. The other thing is, like, you know, my parents weren't entrepreneurs, so at some point, like, you need to understand that it's possible, but it's encouraged at the same time. So which is tough because it's not traditional per se. So for your parents to be comfortable with it, for the teacher to be encouraging it, for the student to be comfortable with it, it's tough to get out of that situation where if you don't have that entrepreneurial, like it might be easier for my kids because they'll see that what we're doing, but you know, it's a little tougher when you don't grow up in that experience. So I think that the educational system can definitely help with exposing that, and hey, mom and dad, these are some options we talked about in school, and like, what do you think? And so that would be helpful to know what's out there and to be encouraged. In school, you're always given the questions, but in life, you're not given the questions, right? So you go through all of like 12, 13 years, and you're given questions. But then you go out in the real world, you're not given any more questions. You have to create your own questions. Are they the right questions? I don't know. But then we're every day at our business, there's new questions that we're creating, and then we're having to come up with solutions. So I think that's definitely an issue with the school system, is that you're given the questions all the time, the whole way through. Now, I don't know how to change that, but that's something I've thought about a lot. And in the real world, you aren't given the questions.